Hi, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. In this video, I'd like to talk to you about the online fabric store, Spoonflower Fabrics, who they are, what they offer, some tips on ordering from them, and also show you some fabrics that I've purchased from them in the last few months. Before I get started, I'd like to thank everyone who has been watching my videos, and especially those who have left me some lovely warm comments. They have really made me feel welcomed by the YouTube sewing community, and I just really appreciate that. In the town that I live, we really don't have a great selection of fabric stores. In fact, our last dedicated fabric store went out of business probably at least 10 years ago. For the options I have now for shopping in town would be Hobby Lobby, which mostly just carries quilting fabrics, blankets, materials such as fleece and flannel, and home decor fabrics. Not a very big selection for apparel. So when I wanted to start making clothes again, I started searching on YouTube to see what online fabric stores other sewists were using. And one store that was mentioned was Spoonflower Fabrics. Well, I'd never heard of Spoonflower Fabrics, and the person didn't go into too great a detail on what it was, so I looked up their website, and this is what I found out. Spoonflower Fabrics is an online print-on-demand fabric store. They sell a variety of fabric types, wallpapers, and home decor items like throw pillows, blankets, duvet covers, and tea towels. They work with a global community of artists who upload their designs, where customers can then choose the design and get it printed on the fabric or wallpaper or other items that they sell. Currently, they have at least 10,000 different designs, which can be kind of overwhelming when you get on their website because there's just so many of them. So when you log onto their website, you can enter different keywords into their search field to narrow down your selections. Like you can put a certain color. If you want emerald green, it'll come up with emerald green designs, or you can put pale pink and it would have all kinds of designs with pale pink. You could put in things like birds or butterflies or circles or stripes, or you could put in several words, a combination, like you could put in lavender flowers with stripes, and it would come up with all kinds of designs. Spoonflower offers a wide variety of fabric options, such as spandex jersey, organic cotton, knit, denim, velvet, twill, chiffon. One thing that I wanted to purchase from Spoonflower was some knit fabrics to make up some different t-shirts. Well, they have several different types of stretch knits, and on their website they tell about each one of those, the fabric content, how wide it is, the type of garments or items that are made from that type of fabric. They also tell the average amount it might shrink, and they also give the weight of the fabric. Now, when I select fabric, I really like to be able to feel that fabric first, because even though it tells the weight, I'm not sure the difference between an 8.2 ounce per square yard compared to a 5.5 ounce per square yard. When I was a young girl and went to the fabric store with my mom, I was one of those kids that wanted to touch everything. So I would go along the counters and just run my hand over all the bolts of fabrics and see which ones were smooth and which ones were textured, which ones were soft, which ones were fuzzy. I especially liked finding the velvets and the fleece type fabrics because they just felt so good to the touch. And one thing that Spoonflower offers that really helps in deciding what type of fabric to choose is what they call their sample pack. Their sample pack is a box that has swatches of each of their fabric types. It also has about 4 swatches of their different wallpaper options. But they have on each swatch the same design printed so that you can see how that type of fabric takes the ink from that design, because depending on what fabric it is, it may be brighter or bolder, or it may be more muted. And on the back of the cards, they give fabric specs for each type, such as fiber content, the printable width of the fabric, the weight. They also, if it's a knit, they tell how much it stretches horizontally and how much it will stretch vertically. And it also give you examples of what it's used for, such if it's used for like blouses or tops, or maybe it's used for tote bags or upholstery or children's clothes or accessories. Spoonflower has 2 facilities that they print in, and those are located in North Carolina and Germany. So I really like these little swatches. Some of the first fabrics that I wanted to order were knits for t-shirt type tops. So I was able to feel the different types of knits and jerseys to see which one I felt would be a good fit for what I was making. Something else that's helpful when ordering from Spoonflower is when you find a design that you like, you can save that design to a collection, just like you would save something to a Pinterest board. And you would name your collection something to describe those designs that you were putting in that certain collection. Like I have a collection of favorite print, and I have a collection of neutrals, prints that are all like gray, black, or white. And I also have a collection of cute baby fabrics in case I ever want to make a baby gift. But you can have an unlimited number of collections. Another thing that I do when I find a design that I like, it will tell me the designer's name, and it will give me a link to see all of the designs that that designer has. And if I see any more that I like, I will save those in the same collection. Also too, a lot of times the designer will save the same design but in different scales. They may have it in a large print, and they may have a medium-sized print or small or a mini print. So when you're browsing, you may see a design that you really like, but it's like really large, and it's too large and not suitable for the garment that you're making. So you can browse the collection from that designer. They may have that design already scaled down. You can also send messages to designers. So if you see a design that you like, but the scale is too large, you can always send them a comment asking if they could scale down that design and upload it to Spoonflower so that you'd have that option. Now, I haven't done that yet, but when I have purchased fabric from them, I have had messages from the designer asking me if it was the scale that I liked. So I think unless they're just super busy, they wouldn't mind doing that. Also, when I'm looking at a designer's collection, I will see if they have solid colors that coordinate with the prints in their collection. And if they do, and I like the color, I will go ahead and save that to the same collection, because sometimes you may need a coordinating print or solid to go with the fabric that you've chosen, such as if you're color blocking a t-shirt or some other type of garment. And it's always good to have that solid color from that same designer, and that way you will know that it matches the fabric that you're getting. I think too, if you didn't see a solid color and there was a certain color in a print that you liked, you could probably also message the designer and ask them if they could make a design with just the solid color. So all in all, I really like Spoonflower Fabrics. I love all the thousands of designs. It's like being in a candy store and having endless choices of yummy things to choose from. The one thing I don't particularly care about Spoonflower Fabrics is when you order their fabrics, their choices in the amount of fabric to order is very limited. they give you the option of either ordering an 8 by 8 inch swatch of fabric, a fat quarter of fabric, or fabric by the yard. You have to order it by the whole yard. And that's probably the one thing that I don't really like about Spoonflower Fabrics, is because when you order from other places, usually after you order 1 yard or 1 meter, you can go up in increments like a fourth of a yard at a time, or at least a half a yard at a time, or half of a meter. But with Spoonflower, it goes from 1 yard to 2 yards, to 3 yards to 4 yards. Well, you don't always need 2 whole yards. You might want a yard and a half or a yard and a fourth. But one thing that Spoonflower offers that helps with this problem, although it's not a perfect solution, is that they have an option called fill a yard. With fill a yard, you have options of using a 1 or 2 yard template where you can divide up the yard using a quarter yard increments. With the 1 yard template, which I'll put on the screen for you can see it, you can have 2 designs in 1 yard, and you can divide those, having a half a yard going horizontally or vertically. If you order the same design of one of those half yards, that yard will be separated from the half yard. It won't be continuous. In my past orders, I've needed a yard and a half for a couple of different tops. So what I did was, for each of the designs, I ordered 1 yard each. And then I used the fill a yard 1 yard template that ran horizontally, and got another half yard of one of the designs and a half yard of the other designs. So I had a yard and a half of each design, but they were cut into 2 pieces, 1 yard and then a half yard. Now, if you need a piece of fabric, say that's a yard and a half, and you want it to be continuous, because maybe it's a dress or a long skirt, and you don't want to have a seam going horizontally, you would use one of their 2 yard templates. And the only one that really would work is this one that says it's up to 48 designs, and it's great for a cheater quilt. That would be the template that you would choose. And what you would do, you would save whatever fabric designs that you want to use in fill a yard. They have to be saved into a collection. So then you would open your collection, and you can just tap on the design that you want, and then you would fill each of these squares going across with the same design, and that would equal a fourth of a yard. So if you wanted a half a yard, then you would fill 2 rows up, or if you wanted 3/4, you would fill 3 up. But let's say you wanted a yard and a half, so you'd have to fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows out of the 8 to get your yard and a half. And then you'd have to choose another design from that same collection, and you could fill in the rest of the blocks. But even though the template shows blocks, if you're using all the same design in a row, it's going to be continuous. There's not going to be spaces in between that. So the next time I need, say, a yard and a half or a yard and 3/4, I will probably use this 2 yard template. And then I'll just use the remaining for maybe a coordinating fabric, that if I have scraps left over, I can take the coordinating fabric and use it with the scraps from the main fabric and maybe make something else with it. So it's still not a perfect option, because what if you wanted 3.5 yards and you want them continuously? There's no way to do that. They also have a couple of other options when you look up the 2 yard templates and the 1 yard templates, and those don't have the option of all the available fabric types. Like, they have one that's divided into 12 squares, but it's specifically for napkins, and you have to use the organic cotton sateen. Also, the 1 yard one has a template that shows 42 squares that they call a cheater quilt. And so you would think you could fill it up half or 3/4, but the only problem with it is that it only allows options for 2 different types of their fabrics, which is the petal signature cotton and the cotton poplin. So unless you're needing those types of fabric, that template's not going to do much good for you. So that is sort of a solution to getting a piece of fabric that is more than a yard but less than 2 yards. Now I would like to show you some of the fabric that I've purchased this year from Spoonflower Fabrics, and in some of those you'll see examples of me using the templates. I only really knew about the 1 yard template when I was ordering these. I didn't realize that that 2 yard one, that you could fill up the little squares with the same design. I had sent several comments to Spoonflower asking how I could have a 1 1/4 or a 1 3/4, and it seemed like it totally confused them at first. They kept thinking I was asking how to get a yard divided into 2 different fabric types. Of course, when you use these templates, you have to use the same fabric type for each half of your yard or each 1/4 of your yard. But finally, I just kept asking the question, and one of the customer service people came back to me and said to try using the 2 yard template that has the 48 squares. So that's what I'll try next time. So far, I've ordered a couple of their different knits, or maybe 3. They're organic cotton, they're cotton spandex, they're cotton jersey. Well, I think it's the modern jersey, which is polyester. I've ordered their crepe de chine and their cotton lawn. Now, some of these fabrics I've already cut garments out of, so they're just kind of like scraps. And in my next video, I want to show you all the garments that I made from these fabrics. I still have a couple to get made, so that's what I'm going to be working on this coming week. But in my first video, you would have seen a color block t-shirt that had 3 different designs, and it was using this one, and then it was using these 2. And you'll see how this is striped down the middle. This is one of their 1 yard templates. So I had, well, it was horizontal, and I had this for 1/2 yard, and then I had this for 1/2 yard, because on the t-shirt, well, I guess it was the top panel that used more fabric, because it had the sleeves, and so I got a whole yard of this fabric. This is from another shirt that I've made, but I haven't shown it yet. I think I got, let's see. On this, I think I just went ahead and got a yard of this, and then in the same collection was this solid green, so I'd saved it so I knew that it matched the green in the flowers here. And I've got quite a bit left over, so I'm going to make I've made a t-shirt with it, and I'm going to make maybe a tank top with my scraps. Now, this fabric you would have seen in my second video, and it's a cotton lawn. And I believe I just went ahead, I think on this one I did need more than a yard for this shirt. So I ordered a yard of this print. And then I'm also making a shirt that uses this print. So I ordered a yard of it, and then I used the template. And this is how the 2 prints look together. Hope you can see that. There's no space between them, so it's a 1/2 yard horizontal of one and 1/2 yard of the other. When I was ordering this watercolor print, I actually kind of made a mistake. That was one of the prints that the artist had done in different scale sizes. And this right here is her mini. print, but she also had it in a larger print, which I like too, but for the blouse I wanted to do the mini print. Well, I had saved both of them to my collection, and then when I was ordering the 1 yard, I ordered this size, and then when I was trying to add to it with the fill yard, I ordered the mini. So since I still was short a yard of the mini, and I wanted to make a blouse using the mini print, on my next order, I did the reverse. I ordered a yard of the mini, and then I ordered a half yard of the larger print to make something else with. And since I needed to put another design with it, I was going to make a blouse out of this striped material. So what I did was I did another fill yard where I divided it horizontally, and I ordered the larger print on one half, and I ordered this stripe on another half. So now I have 1.5 yards of this, 1.5 yards of the bigger print, and then I had 1.5 yards of the mini print. And those were all cotton lines. So here's some more of the larger print. I think this is a watercolor design where the artist actually did a watercolor print, and then she transferred it into her graphic design software. She scanned it and uploaded it onto Spoonflower, and I think that is so pretty. I love all those colors. I also wanted to get a couple of pieces of fabric to make a few more t-shirts, so I ordered this design in their organic cotton jersey. I think this is so pretty. I really love anything that has birds in it. I have a lot of artwork in my house that has birds in it. My husband and I have feeders in front of our windows in the front and the back, so we're always watching the different kind of birds that come up to them. And I just thought this was so cute. So I ordered this, and since it's for a t-shirt, I only needed 1 yard, which worked out well. And then I saw this bird design, and I just thought I had to have it. I think it is so cute too, and I love this teal blue. Now this is an example where the designer had it in different scales. I got this scale in the knit for a t-shirt, but I love the design so much that I also got it in her larger print that looks like this. And I got this in the canvas because I want to make some pillow covers, a couple of pillow covers for a wicker love seat that's on my front porch. So it's a larger print, but I think it'll work well for some pillows. So hopefully I will get those made in the next week. Well, that wraps up my review of Spoonflower Fabrics. I really like the company. I'm amazed by all the designs. They have so many talented artists that they're working with. I think I could just look at their designs all day and think about things to make. Now, if they could only switch up their ordering so that you could order 1.5 yards or 1 1/4 yards, 1 3/4 without using a template, that would be even better. So like I said, in next week's video, I'd like to show you the garments that I've made so far from my Spoonflower Fabrics. I'm trying to get them all made for the summer before summer gets away from me. Until I see you in the next video, I hope you have a wonderful week.